For more than 5 years, Elara Finch believed her marriage was built on patience. Not the easy kind of patience that waits for traffic lights to change or rain to stop. This was the hard kind. The kind that sits quietly in your chest. The kind that learns how to smile even when something important is missing. The kind that hopes without asking too many questions. Elara and Rowan Pike had been married for 5 years and 8 months. She remembered the number clearly because every extra month felt like another test she had not signed up for. They married young, not foolishly young, but young enough to believe love could solve anything. Rowan was kind in the early years. He listened. He held her hand when they walked through town. He looked at her like she mattered. When they first tried to have a child, they were excited. When it didn't happen, they told each other it was normal. When months passed, they said they still had time. When years passed, they said life worked differently for everyone. Elara held on to that belief tightly. They lived in Launceston, a quiet Tasmanian city where life moved slowly. People knew each other. Streets were calm. The river flowed like it had all the time in the world. Elara watched friends announce pregnancies. She attended small baby showers. She held other people's babies and smiled politely. At night, she cried quietly so Rowan would not hear. Rowan used to hold her when she cried. He used to say children did not define love. He used to say they had each other, and that was enough. For a long time, Elara believed him. Life between them was not perfect, but it was steady. They worked, they paid bills, they shared meals, they laughed at old jokes. They planned trips they never took. They argued sometimes, but the arguments ended in apologies. Then something slowly changed. It didn't break loudly. It bent. Rowan started staying out late. At first, he said work was getting heavier, new responsibilities, new pressure. Elara accepted it because she trusted him. She had never needed to check his phone or ask too many questions. Trust had always been easy. Then the calls started. Late-night calls that stopped when she walked into the room. Messages that made his face soften in a way she hadn't seen in months. Calls he stepped outside to answer, even when it was cold. Elara noticed, but she told herself she was imagining things. She told herself stress changed people. She told herself 5 years without a child could weigh on a man. People around her noticed too. A woman at the local bakery mentioned seeing Rowan with another lady. A neighbor asked careful questions that made Elara uncomfortable. A coworker warned her quietly that men sometimes drift. Elara defended her husband every time. She said Rowan would never cheat. She said he loved her. She said rumors were easy to start in small cities. Deep inside, a small voice tried to speak. Elara pushed it down. Rowan's behavior became harder to ignore. He grew impatient. He snapped at small things. He stopped asking how her day went. He stopped sitting close to her at night. He started treating her like she was always in the way. Elara tried harder. She cooked better meals. She dressed more carefully. She smiled even when she felt empty. She blamed herself. She wondered if waiting so long for a child had made her less important to him. She never imagined he was already living another life. One afternoon, Elara felt dizzy while cleaning the house. She sat down, thinking she had done too much. The dizziness returned the next day. Then nausea followed. Then a deep tiredness that felt different. She told herself it was stress. One morning, she woke up with a strange feeling in her body, a feeling she had hoped for many times before and learned not to expect. Fear came before joy. She didn't want to believe it. That afternoon, while Rowan was away, Elara went to the hospital alone. She expected routine checks, maybe medication, maybe advice. When the doctor told her she was pregnant, Elara laughed. Not because she was happy, because she did not believe it. She asked for another test. She explained her history. She explained the years of waiting. The doctor checked again. Pregnant. Elara walked out of the hospital shaking. She held the paper tightly. 5 years of pain collapsed into one moment of hope. Still, she did not believe. She traveled to Burney the next day and visited another hospital. Another test. Another confirmation. Pregnant. Her legs felt weak. Her heart raced. For the first time in years, her future opened. Elara's mind filled with images. Rowan smiling again. Rowan holding her stomach. Rowan apologizing for every harsh word. Their home filling with warmth. She planned how to tell him. She wanted it to be special. She wanted to see his face when hope finally arrived. She stepped into the hospital hallway to call him, and that was when everything broke. She saw Rowan before she heard him. He was standing inside one of the rooms with another woman. His hand rested gently on her waist. His voice was soft. His smile was real. The woman was pregnant too. Rowan leaned in, kissed her cheek, and whispered something that made her smile. Elara froze. Her body refused to move. The test result felt heavy in her hand. She did not cry. She did not scream. She watched. And in that moment, everything became clear. This was not a colleague. This was not a mistake. This was not a short affair. This was a second life. Elara turned away slowly. She walked out of the hospital without calling Rowan. She did not confront him. She did not ask questions. She already had enough answers. That night she sat alone in their house. Everything felt different now. Every memory felt fake. Every promise felt hollow. She thought about the child inside her. The child she waited for years. The child that came too late. She thought about staying. She thought about leaving. She thought about raising a child alone, something she never wanted. She thought about ending the pregnancy before it became another source of pain. There was no easy choice. Only survival. Elara did not sleep that night. She lay on her side, staring at the wall, one hand resting on her stomach like she was afraid the feeling might disappear if she let go. The house was quiet, but her head was loud. Every sound felt sharp. Every thought felt heavy. She replayed the scene in the hospital again and again. Rowan's hand on another woman's waist. Rowan's soft voice. Rowan's smile. That smile hurt the most. It was the smile he used to give her. By morning, Elara had made one decision. She would not confront him yet. She needed time, not to forgive, not to forget, but to think clearly. Rowan came home late that evening. He dropped his keys on the table and spoke like nothing was wrong. He asked what she made for dinner. He complained about traffic. He did not look at her properly. Elara watched him closely. She noticed how comfortable he was lying. She noticed how easily he moved through their home like it still belonged to him. When Rowan finally asked if she was okay, Elara nodded. She lied back. That night, she turned away from him in bed. Rowan did not notice. Days passed. Elara went to work. She smiled at people. She answered questions. Inside, she was planning her exit. She checked their bank account quietly. She looked at rental listings in Devonport and Sheffield, smaller places, quieter places, places where no one knew Rowan Pike. She also went back to the hospital, alone. The doctor explained her options calmly. Elara listened. Abortion, or keeping the baby. Both choices felt heavy. She went home and cried for the first time since the hospital. Not loudly, not dramatically, just steady tears that soaked into her pillow. She did not want to be a single mother. She had dreamed of raising a child with love, not anger. But she also knew something clearly now. She would never raise a child in a lie. Rowan grew colder. He became impatient, defensive, short-tempered. One night, Elara asked him directly who the woman was. Rowan didn't deny it. He sighed like a tired man who had been exposed. He said her name was Marlowe Gray. He said it just happened. He said Marlowe understood him. He said Elara had changed. He said the words like they were facts, not knives. Then he said something that broke whatever was left. He said Marlowe was his wife too. A quiet marriage, a secret one he never planned to end. Elara felt her chest tighten. She asked him about the baby. Rowan froze. Then he said he wasn't sure if it was his. Elara laughed, not because it was funny, because it was cruel. That night, Elara packed a bag. Not everything, just enough. She left a note on the kitchen table. Not angry, not begging, just clear. She wrote that she knew everything. She wrote that she was pregnant. She wrote that she was leaving. She didn't say where. She drove through the dark to Devonport before sunrise. It came when she was strong enough to choose herself. Elara rented a small flat near the water. The place smelled like paint and salt. It was not beautiful, but it was hers. She sat on the floor and held her stomach. She talked to the baby quietly. She told the baby she didn't know what she would do yet, but she promised one thing. She would not lie. Weeks passed. Rowan called, texted, apologized, threatened, blamed. Elara blocked his number. She told her parents the truth. They were shocked, angry, protective. They offered support. For the first time in a long while, Elara felt held. One evening, Elara stood by the window, watching the water turn gold in the sunset. She thought about her life before Rowan. She thought about the woman she had become. She placed her hand on her stomach again. This time, she felt something small. Not a kick, a reminder. She smiled through tears. She still didn't know the future, but she knew one thing clearly now. Hope did not come too late.